All right, looks like this is live. Happy Valentine's Day. I'm going to do something a little different today. I've never done this. I'm going to make me a cheesecake. I saw it on some social media. It's peanut butter using Nutter Butters as a crust and some jelly layers in with it. It looked pretty good, so I'm going to give it a try. Don't really know what I'm doing. It seemed easy enough though. So this is what I'm going to do for Valentine's Day. The one that I watched, they took Nutter Butters and crushed them up to make the crust. Well, I've got some graham crackers that were already crushed up, so I'm going to mix in some butter and peanut butter with that to make my crust. So I melted a whole stick. I don't know how much you would need for something like this, but I went about half. The video said to use about 30 ounces of peanut butter. This is a 40-ounce jar, so I figure a good big scoop into the graham crackers should make that work out pretty good. All right. Put that aside for later. And I'll find something to mix it up with. Don't really know what I'm doing. I always tell everybody a recipe is just a guideline, something to get you started. But this looked pretty good, so I'm going to give it a try. All right, and it looks like a half a stick of butter would have been enough, because I still have a fair amount that I didn't use, and this is looking kind of wet. So I'll put the rest of it to the side. And I'll spoon this mixture into the bottom of this spring pan. I had to go buy a pan for this. I like it. It takes a lot to maintain this physique, so this is how I do it. Most people don't appreciate it. They think it takes dedication to go to the gym. Well, hey, it takes dedication to do this as well. Just smear that around everywhere. I'm happy with that. All right, put that to the side. He said to use 3 blocks of softened cream cheese and roughly 30 ounces of peanut butter. So I'm just going to put the rest of this jar in there. Right now I'm going, man, that's a lot of peanut butter. There's a lot of cream cheese there too. Looks like a lot more than what that little pan's going to hold. This is a no-bake cheesecake. I'm the only one going to be eating it, so it doesn't really matter what stuff I do. whether I'm licking my fingers or not. Mix that up a little bit with a spoon before I put the mixer in it. That's thick. And it said to add some Cool Whip to it. I'm using cheap stuff. We'll see any reason to spend expensive brand of Cool Whip. Save that for later for lunches. Kind of like there is a meme one time I said it took somebody 20 minutes to find the butter at Grandma's house because everything was in a country crock bowl. Just a poor man's Tupperware. It's thick. What time is UNC cooking? I have no idea. Right now, it's almost 6 o'clock in the evening here. There is no cook time in this. It's a no bake thing. Which is kind of the cheesecake I like anyway. New York style cheesecake and stuff, I think it's too heavy. This shit is thick. Hello, Bella Boo. UNC is baking. Now, this is, like I said, a no-bake cheesecake. I prefer them over the New York style cooked ones and stuff. I usually do the simple thing out of a box. And this is my first time doing this, so I have no idea what I'm really doing. And I think that looks pretty good. Over there, they ain't really mixed in. Wouldn't mind having one of those fancy mixers, but then you wouldn't get the fun of licking all the stuff out of this center of these little blenders. And that's about as clean as I'm going to get that. Find a place to put it so I can clean it up later. Alright. Gonna line the edges of this with the Nutter Butters. Nutter Butters is one of the things I kind of associate with my Grandma Lee. Nutter Butters and butterscotch candies. The guy in the video that I watched to make this said it was not a cheap dessert to make. I don't know, I had some of it for a while, so I didn't really pay attention to how much it cost. Oh, my Harley. Yeah. That's the only thing I have ever bought new. I don't ride it enough. It's an '08. And I think I just went over 10,000 miles on it on my last trip up to the mountains. That definitely makes it a bachelor pad when the Harley sits in what should be the dining room. That took a whole package of Nutter Butter, all but 3. But yeah, life gets away from me a lot, and I don't get to ride it near as much as I would like. Too busy playing like I'm an adult and doing the things you're supposed to do. But thanks for noticing it. I'm pretty happy with my bike. When I went in to buy it, I told him I want something kind of unique. I don't want something that everybody and their brother has. And that was the year they were doing the anniversary paint job. He's like, yeah, these are limited edition and everything. But I'm like, dude, there's 15 bikes up here that have that paint job. That's not what I'm looking for. And I seen this one. And I was like, tell me about that. It was the only one they had on the lot, or showroom. Not really a lot at Harley Place. They call that pewter. I call it silver, but so far, I've only seen 3 others like it. One come through town one day. I saw one in Daytona at Bike Week, and I think I saw one at Sturgis a while back. I'd like to do that again. That was, the riding up there is amazing. Alright. So I put like half of my peanut butter mixture in there. And I'm going to put some strawberry jam in there. Thought about, instead of strawberry, you could do like a layer of Reese's or something in there. Yeah, it's a Fat Boy. Fat Boy is a soft tail. Thank you. I like it. It's not real tricked out. You know, I put saddlebags on it and the crash guard right after I laid it down coming out of my driveway. The day after I made the first payment, I dropped it in my damn driveway. I spent a little extra money, and the light bar is off a Heritage Softail Deluxe, because most of them, that if you look close, there's like a whole bunch of pieces that looks like it's assembled from a bunch of parts, where the one that came off the deluxe has the bullet lights and things. So that light bar cost me quite a bit more than what it could have. But I like that look. And the light bar kind of evens it out. I put the bags on it before I went to Sturgis, and I kind of felt like it made her ass fat. So the headlight augmentation kind of balanced her out a little bit. Yeah, it sucks though to have it brand new and drop it right away. So I'm glad you know the feeling though. The trip up to the mountains in September, there was a red light and a whole string of trucks lined up on a 4-lane. I used to be a truck driver, so some of this stuff I knew to be careful of. And I was easing along in the left-hand lane. One of the drivers stopped to let this pickup come out. And they couldn't see me coming up beside the truck, so I almost laid it down then. And the rest of my trip up in the mountains, I drove like a fucking pussy. And I went to Biketober, and down here, nice flat land where I know where I'm at. I got some of my confidence back. But yeah, it took the fire out from under me there in the mountains for a little bit, but it wasn't a big deal. I mean, I got through it. Scared me though. One of the things I like to joke about with people, they talk about things scaring the shit out of you. You got to clean your pants. I used to dive for golf balls, and I'd have run-ins with alligators, and people be like, "You got to change your wetsuit." I'm like, "No, I didn't have to change my wetsuit. I couldn't poop for 2 or 3 days. Had to relax some before I could go to the bathroom." So that's one of the things I don't understand, but I guess people handle fear differently. I just said I wish I wrote it more. Not my first bike. I bought a couple of junkers beforehand. And they taught me that I didn't really want to spend a lot of time working on them. So that's when I bought a new one, since I grew up working on Macs and stuff. And things like this, when I work on small stuff, I tend to break things. Working at the dive shop when I first started working on regulators a little bit, which I don't really mess with much anymore. They told me I over-tightened everything. I was like, well, shit. So I try to use smaller tools now when I do things. Well, get a clean one since I'm on video. What was my first bike? It was a Kawasaki road bike. I can't ride the crotch rockets. They hurt me. No, we got a Georgia boy that doesn't run into alligators much. I have seen a few gators in Georgia in the southern end. I'm in South Florida, so we got gators everywhere. It's just part of life. I got bit 4 times when I was doing that stuff. Doesn't hurt as bad as you think. I think because it happens so fast, you don't get time to register it. They were like territory things. They'd bite and then let me go because they wanted me to just get the hell out. But it sure as hell don't fucking tickle. Supposed to have a little paring knife somewhere, but North Georgia. I have family around Augusta and South Carolina and things like that. I lived up there when I was 4 to 8, so that's where my accent comes from. First bike was an old Sportster. I've known some people that had Sportsters. I never liked their tanks very good. I thought they looked a little funny. And even on this one, I look like a bear at the circus riding a tricycle. So I try to like a bigger bike. Not saying there's anything wrong with a Sportster. We won't use that one. Feed it to chickens later. I'm not a very good rider. Mostly because I don't do it enough. But I have done a few trips on it. I have a problem. If I'm leaving the house, I'm going somewhere for a reason. And I probably need to get something. And carrying something on the bike is kind of a pain in the ass. Yeah, bigger guy kind of needs a bigger bike. I'm trying to stay under 300 pounds, but I don't have but just a little bit of leeway before I hit it right now. So I definitely on the bigger side. But I like literally being a little more man than most. It cuts out some bullshit from people, but it sometimes brings more serious bullshit. You know, a lot of people will leave the big guy alone, but then some people will look for the bigger guy just to try to have something to prove. So it's kind of 6 one, half a dozen the other. I ain't been in a fight since like 97, so I'd probably get the shit kicked out of me if I had to actually do it anymore. Find me a great big one to put in that hole. That ought to work. You were 2 years old in 97? 97. I had left the Corps, and in 97 I was working in the Gulf of Mexico as a commercial diver. And working out of Louisiana. You gotta be careful in Louisiana. Them people drink at the drop of a hat. Alright, that actually went pretty quick. I think it looks good. The video said to put it in the fridge for 4 hours. before you try to cook it. I think I'm looking at my breakfast tomorrow morning more than likely. I'll probably put it in and leave it for later. But if you was born in 95, I've got 24 years on you. Not that it really matters. Life is life. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I like seeing who pops up on this when I do things. The only time I do lives is when I'm going to make something to eat. I like to cook. Like the first one, I was just bitching about the dive trip I was on. But I enjoyed talking to you too. And I hope to talk to you again sometime. All right. Take care, and everybody, happy Valentine's Day. I will talk to y'all next time I do this. Good night.